That night's mission was one of the so-called high-risk ones. You had to get all the present and future information from Nintendo. Its best-kept secrets, games, promotions and upcoming releases that could change the normal course of many people's lives, and for that they needed the best agent, the most intrepid, the most daring, that is, me.
Damn it.
I didn't know exactly what I could find. A paper, a letter, a briefcase. I got it, the video.
How original.
In my hands I had a video with the latest news from Nintendo. He had accomplished one of the main objectives of the mission. Getting that information was vital to the interests of my organization.
The first fighting game in its most spectacular version, with better graphics, magnificent animations, new backgrounds. The new Street Fighter Alpha 2 is also the game with the most fighters of all those who have paraded on the Super Nintendo console. In Street Fighter Alpha 2, each character can land between 7 and 15 hits, up to triple that of previous versions. One of the most careful aspects in fighting games has always been the difficulty to perform special movements, something that does not happen in Street Fighter Alpha 2 thanks to the ease with which the programmers have provided the game so that we can control it with great ease. Each and every movement of the characters. Surprising, different, original. Winter Gold belongs to that class of games that deviate from any trend or fashion and that appear very occasionally. This title brings together 6 spectacular winter sports. Each of them by itself is almost an independent game, and any of them is entertaining and very dynamic. At a graphic level it is highly spectacular and uses the famous FX2 chip which, in addition to providing incredible polygonal graphics totally different from conventional games, makes the sensation of speed very real and impressive in certain events, downhill, bobsleigh. Disney has already done it again. The wonderful graphics and decorations that we were already able to enjoy in games like Aladdin, returned to Super Nintendo thanks to a character as endearing and likable as Pinocchio. Based on the film of the same name, it maintains all its plot and all its charm and sympathy. We will repeat the steps that Pinocchio followed until he became a flesh and blood boy, and for this we will have to introduce ourselves into the character and star in our own film. Finally comes to Super Nintendo Donald, one of the most charismatic characters of the Disney factory. Help Donald find the powerful Tiki statue. To do this, he must cross rivers of lava, fight against shadows and voodoo spirits, and enter the island of Maui, where you will acquire ninja knowledge that gives him a double personality, becoming Maui Ninja. And all through 8 levels with spectacular graphics, powerful and catchy music, parallax scrolling technology that induces a sensation of speed in some phases, and the transformations and deformations of its wallpapers that make this 24-megabyte game one of the Super Nintendo's most spectacular adventures. Nintendo. Toy Story is an amazing game for your Super Nintendo, programmed by Pixar and Disney. The same techniques have been used in its production as in the film, and this is noticeable as soon as you start playing. At the graphic level, Toy Story is impressive, representing, together with the Donkey Kong saga, the top of what can currently be achieved on 16-bit consoles. But Toy Story is not a simple display of graphics.
As a game, it also stands out with its own personality. Its rendered graphics, its excellent music, its three-dimensional animations and its great variety of phases make this title a fast-paced adventure that will not allow you a single moment of respite.
All the excitement, intrigue, action and mystery of RPG titles concentrated in the most impressive adventure game of all time. Hidden secrets, friendly characters, terrible enemies, magic, powerful weapons and sophisticated defensive equipment are some of the common elements in RPG games, which here, in Secret of Evermore, acquire a special role. A young adventurer and his intrepid dog will have to travel through 4 worlds set in different historical periods. If you like The Legend of Zelda, Secret of Mana and Illusion of Time, get ready for even more exciting new experiences in Secret of Evermore. The most anticipated game of recent times, the second part of the mythical Super Mario World. Controlling Yoshi, we will have to go through 6 worlds, each of them made up of 8 very long phases, in a game concept never seen before.
We have never handled a Yoshi that glides, hits the ground and shoots eggs at his enemies.
Eggs that he himself creates with the enemies that he swallows, and is that Yoshi's appetite has no end. Technically, it is an unbeatable game with excellent gameplay complemented by excellent new graphics and impeccable visual techniques. A platform game suitable for all audiences.
In this second version, we must highlight a really impressive improvement at the scroll level.
And it is not only necessary to advance to find the exit as in the previous version. Here you also have to find a series of objects to complete the different phases, and this makes it even more entertaining. We can even play with 2 different characters of our choice.
With 16 phases, plus 6 bonuses and how hidden some objects are, makes Smurfs 2 not a simple game as it might initially seem.
Many times before, attempts had been made to create a game that was capable of equaling the success of the mythical Tetris. Copies with little success and strange formulas with dubious playability were the results obtained.
The authentic successor to Tetris, Tetris Attack, is here.
A game with a new and revolutionary concept, technically different from any other, even in the shapes and colors of the well-known blocks, which here change completely.
A great variety of game modes. Solo is a personal challenge, against the console or against the most skilled of your friends. Make it one of the most original titles since the genuine Tetris. In addition, it includes a learning mode to initiate the less skilled at Yoshi's hand.
Two new protagonists for the third part of one of the most important games in the history of Super Nintendo. Many innovations have been included in the game compared to its predecessors. Among them you will find a greater number of phases, new friendly animals, new vehicles, new golden coins, enemies and barrels, the Bear Brothers, intermediate enemies and a great final boss that on this occasion is called Chaos.
You only have to take a look at these images and you will be able to see that the graphic quality has improved enormously, that the details in the decoration have increased and also in the animations of the sprites, resulting in a much more realistic environment. A much more real environment.
I heard something. Soon the problems began. When I saw that the danger had passed,
If you liked Super Nintendo's Donkey Kong Country 2 and you didn't have the opportunity to play with it, now you have the chance to do so in the most faithful adaptation of all that have been made of a Super Nintendo game for Game Boy.
Donkey Kong Land 2 has 12 more stages compared to the previous version and there is a higher level of difficulty than its predecessor, which makes the game much more attractive.
Graphically, due to the speed of the game and the number and variety of enemies, Donkey Kong Land 2 is one of the most complete and attractive cartridges of all those that have paraded across your Game Boy screen.
It's basically the same game as for the Super Nintendo version, which is a guarantee of success.
It's a pretty fun platform cartridge to play, with good graphics and very entertaining from the start.
Also, like in the Super Nintendo game, we will have to go through different parts of the world in search of crystal fragments, being able to handle two completely different characters of our choice.
Your challenge this time will be to lead Tintin to the Himalayas, where the abominable snowman lives, aka the Yeti.
Throughout 13 intense phases you will have to collect clues and the necessary information to find the whereabouts of Chong, our eastern friend who disappeared in the cold peaks of the Himalayas.
Tintin in Tibet retains all the plot of the original comic, its characters and all the charisma of the setting that accompanies the adventures of the well-known Belgian reporter. A version identical to the Super Nintendo game.
Help Pinocchio to become a child of flesh and blood, living numerous adventures in a hostile environment, where stepping on the most unexpected object can become a deadly trap.
Toy Story impresses with the enormous quality of its graphics that stand out especially on the Game Boy console.
In this game we will control Woody, the friendly toy cowboy who is the protagonist of the famous Disney movie.
Throughout 10 levels, we will have to make use of our intelligence ability.
It is not a simple platform game. In many of its phases, it will be necessary to follow a series of steps in a certain order to reach the end of each area.
In Kirby's Block Ball, games like Arkanoid Ping Pong and the adventures of the cute characters from the Kirby saga come together to form a single highly addictive game, where special powers, final enemies and bonus stages appear.
2 different worlds with 4 stages each and an increasing level of difficulty with long and complex scenarios, excellent graphics and music and spectacularly original game mechanics. Spectacularly original.
In this adventure, Kirby will be accompanied by 3 allies, an owl, a hamster and a fish, each with different characteristics. In addition, Kirby will be able to receive up to 7 different special powers that will make him more powerful. If we compare it with Kirby's Dream Land, it would have to be said that it has improved remarkably. At the graphics level, the same scheme that gave such good results in the first part is maintained.
What has changed is the type of game. This one is much more varied, long, fun and also difficult.
Do you want to play the game that drove your father crazy again and challenge him to an exciting match without emptying his pockets? Well, now you know. Take control of your intergalactic ship and avoid the wildest alien invasion in history.
Galaga Galaxian is actually 2 games on 1 cartridge, giving you double the fun. To challenge the Galaga bosses, you'll need skill that can only be achieved by avoiding the invasion in Galaxian first. The magic of the true successor to Tetris in its original environment, Game Boy. With all the options, game modes and the speed of Super Nintendo.
And so that you don't miss anything, 7 different frames in full color, if you play with Super Game Boy, which give this super fun version of a game that already arouses passions and unusual appearance. When you play once, you can never put it down. The most famous fighting game in history comes this time to the small Nintendo laptop.
This game is a mix of the first 3 Street Fighters that came out on the Super Nintendo, which is quite an advantage.
For this version, the 9 most charismatic fighters of the saga have been chosen, keeping all their special blows and animations unchanged. In addition, the size of the fighters and the quality of its graphics, sharp and well finished, is something never seen in a Game Boy fighting game.
He already had almost all the data on the games, but the night was long. I knew that at some point I would have to use my extensive knowledge of computers to find the key to any information they had stored. Go.
Come on.
Go.
Come on.
Correct key.
Mario's promotion.
I got it. Mario's promotion.
Objective: get great prizes.
Collecting the Marios that you will find inside the Nintendo video games in which this distinctive game appears. Game Boy 5 points. Game Super Nintendo 10 points. Procedure: stick your Marios in a corresponding box.
Gifts. 10 points, safe gift, run t-shirt or wallet.
15 points, watch, backpack or pole. 20 points, Killer Instinct, backpack or windbreaker. 25 points, Megabase water, travel bag or vest. 30 points, 3 rooms, illusion of time or binoculars. 40 points, a Game Boy Pocket. Fill in the card with all your information, put it in the envelope and send it to the post office.
Wow. What do we have here?
Oh wow. What do we have here? I continued searching in the darkness of those offices, not knowing exactly what I might find. I was looking for any kind of information. That's when I saw a B-24 type door with a conical latch, but I had all the necessary instruments so that no lock would resist me. He knew that behind that door you would find something. Once again my sense of smell did not fail me. In front of me I had two briefcases.
But what would be inside?
What Nintendo product could fit in a briefcase?
Oh.
How had I not imagined it before? In front of me I had the Game Boy Special Edition in its range of 6 colors and the Star Pack, in which in addition to the console they give you Tetris and Super Mario Land, but there was still the other briefcase.
Magnificent.
I had never seen something like this.
The Game Boy Pocket.
At that moment I felt that I had all the fun in my hands. It was incredible, 30% smaller, lighter, with the same screen size, but with a higher resolution. But I couldn't entertain myself anymore. I had to continue my mission. Everything was going according to plan.
Todavía faltaba lo más importante para rematar mi trabajo.
The last point of my mission, find the high security box.
Inside, according to my calculations, would be the Super Nintendo.
With the detector it was not difficult for me to locate it and for a professional like me much less to open it. I thought nothing could surprise me anymore. And yet, what was in there did. A Super Nintendo and 5 great games. Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, The Lost Levels and Super Mario World.
It is for me.
My mission was over. The only thing left was the easiest, leaving the building without being seen. And that's when.
Look for this stamp on Game Boy and Super Nintendo boxes. Only then will you know that what you have before you is not just any cartridge, but rather titles selected for their quality and status as classics that Nintendo now makes available to you at a fantastic price. The Nintendo Classic series is made up of 5 titles for the Game Boy.
Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2 and Wario Land, where Mario, the star of Nintendo video games, is the absolute protagonist.
Donkey Kong, the first game specially programmed for the Super Game Boy. And Tetris, the most challenging skill game that has brought the most people upside down. But that's not all, because in this series you also have at your fingertips 3 titles for your Super Nintendo. Zelda, the first RPG game for your Super Nintendo. Super Mario Kart, Speed and Fun in Mode 7. And Tetris and Dr. Mario, 2 games in 1.
Get now the usual games with the legendary Nintendo characters.
But Nintendo also offers you those games that you couldn't find in stores anymore at a very special price.
Killer Instinct, the #1 fighting game, the most revolutionary. With ruthless characters equipped with secret weapons, impressive moves and devastating special blows.
Some fighters who never have mercy on their adversary, because in this fight there is only one winner.
Super Metroid, the longest game for Super Nintendo. A dangerous journey full of traps, tunnels and secret passages, where cold-blooded and dexterity are vital to win.
Kirby's Ghost Trap, an amazing Tetris-type puzzle, where you will have to test your reflexes, your skill and your patience.
Super Soccer.
All the excitement of soccer on your console. Passes, high shots, headers, self-passes, dribbling, the best of the king of sports on a magnificent three-dimensional pitch. Super Tennis, the funniest tennis game where you can play alone or with others. World League Basketball, the World Basketball League in an exciting game of height. Choose your team and jump onto this magnificent court with digitized graphics where backgrounds and settings rotate up to 360 degrees following the player's perspective.
It wasn't long before all my work fell apart. When the danger passed, I headed towards the main objective, the most delicate. I had to get all the information about Nintendo's best-kept secret, the Nintendo 64.
4.
Its structure, its capacity, its power, its games, its plans for the future. Vital data that could shake the world. Nintendo 64, the result of the union of Silicon Graphics and Nintendo to achieve a console that doubles in power and triples in speed to the current 32-bit. How will Mario be missing our star on Nintendo 64? And here you have it, in a sensational game in which you will be able to appreciate the advanced technology of the latest Nintendo console. The three-dimensional effects can already be seen from the first screen, where we can make Mario's head spin and deform each of its parts at will. Likewise, within the game, we will see Mario develop in a three-dimensional world in which he will open doors with a large key. You will go through labyrinthine corridors. You will go through mysterious squares that will take you to other worlds, and you will even dive into aquatic areas. Mario can increase walking speed, grapple and crawl, brick dance, spin back jump, lunge, side jump, and even climb to the top of the Alps and do a handstand. In Mario 64, we will be able to choose at will between the different angles and perspectives that modify the point of view of the character depending on whether we want to have a greater or lesser field of vision. This allows Mario to discover objects that are apparently hidden and access secret areas simply by looking at them. In some of these areas, Mario will have to use his special cap to be able to fly.
The sensation of speed, it is one of the most important elements of a game, and on Nintendo 64 we can appreciate it in many areas, such as this frantic race on ice. My eye almost popped out.
There.
Here.
There.
There. There.
There.
There. There.
There.
There.
There.
There. There. In Mario 64, not everything is what it seems. For example, in this room divided by a huge mirror, we will observe inside this a painting that we do not see in the real universe. Despite this, that painting exists and we can cross it to reach another world. The size of the sprites is another of the most important aspects of a new technology game. In Mario 64, we are continuously besieged by huge objects and we can discover characters of enormous dimensions in hidden places. And many surprises await us. We will find Yoshi.
We will walk on the lava.
We will penetrate the secrets of a mysterious volcano. We will have to overcome huge geometric structures. We will drop bombs on our enemies. We will throw bombs at our enemies, and we will even fly under the claws of a friendly owl that will lead us to inaccessible areas. Inaccessible. Time will be our ally, learn to use it. In Mario 64, your skill, handling the revolutionary Nintendo 64 analog joystick, will be decisive. In Nintendo 64 will be decisive to overcome the most complicated situations. Another exclusive opportunity that this great game offers you is the possibility of seeing Mario without a cap, thanks to a cap-stealing kleptomaniac monkey. If you are also a lover of botany, in Mario 64 you will find some carnivorous plants from Patagonia that will be delighted to meet you. And as in all Mario games, the Castle of Ghosts could not be missing, but now much more dangerous than ever. Mario 64, an incredible game in which you can fully enjoy the latest Nintendo technology. 3D graphics, huge sprites, different perspectives, multiple objects and enemies, a thrilling sensation of speed, and above all lots and lots of fun. All this and more is what you will find through 18 impressive and very long phases. More than 6 bonuses in which you will not have a moment of respite. Mario 64, the best video game in the world. Do you like to fly?
Do you want to live an unforgettable experience from a bird's eye view? Well, put on your helmet and get ready for an amazing air trip in which you can practice 7 different types of flight. In Pilotwings 64, the goal is to achieve the highest flight license in your pilot badge.
For this you need to pass a course divided into several tests in which you will fly from a hang glider to a helicopter. You will become the bullet man when thrown from a cannon. You will practice paragliding from a cannon. You will practice paragliding.
And you will visit 4 different islands.
Pilotwings 64, a game of height. Only at the height of Nintendo 64. Get ready for the first hit. The revolution is coming. The revolution is coming. It doesn't go further in acceleration. Wave Race 64 is an extraordinary jet ski race for 1 or 2 simultaneous players in which you can find up to 5 different game modes.
You must achieve the best times in each circuit, beating all your opponents.
In a game where technique, realism and a thrilling sense of speed come together in the most impressive game of all time. Wave Race 64 is also the first Nintendo 64 game in which you can use the memory pack to record all your records and games. Good.
Careful.
Careful. Wave Race 64, a prodigy of 64-bit technology, only possible on Nintendo 64. Oh.
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 I had conceived it, my mission was over, but I don't know why I felt that fate still had something in store for me. Since then nothing is the same. I have traveled through time and space. I have seen and experienced things that no one could ever imagine. I have become part of a new dimension from which I can never escape.
Thanks for watching the video.